Okay, usually I do this with a big flat chisel, but I'm going to show you that you can go out and get a little tiny flex cut chisel. I use flex cut because if you go to a carving store, you can always find flex cuts. Right, this right here is a nice flat with kind of a very light sweep on it. All right, I don't know exactly the number. I think it's a number 11. But what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this wood off. Now you can start with a stop cut up here and then push your cut up into that stop cut. So all I'm going to do is come up here and push in and leave some bark on the top, because I do want to leave some bark on the top of a lot of these. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a stop cut up there so I have something to cut up too. And then I'm just going to clear some of this wood off. Okay. Bringing it up into that stop cut. Don't worry if it's not perfect, we're just getting some wood off for now. Now this is a really thick piece, it's going to take me a while to take some of this down to where I want it. Okay, so it might take a little longer than I want for a video. So I might go off camera and do that. I'm just trying to show you the whole idea behind forming a wedge shape into this wood. Okay. And if you don't want to go past any point, make sure you always make a stop cut. Montana Cottonwood bark is a really nice bark. Very thick though, so when you're making a small carving like this, you really got to take it down. Where you want first. It's all about setting up the shape of the carving first. Now I do have my foot on this little table because I don't have this mounted on my workbench for this video. Okay, so that's all we're doing. We're taking the wood off, or the bark off, to get down to this carvable wood. Now I'm going to shape that up. Again, I'm going to try and make a nice shape that's high in the middle, and then kind of fans out to both ends. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera, and I'll shape this the way I want, trying to get it to flow out to the sides, and get down into a little bit of depth in the good wood. A lot of the bark off, and then we'll make a carving. Alright, we'll start our carving from there. Okay, as you can see, I cleared a lot of the bark away. Now, I didn't use a center line because this is a smaller piece, but if you want to, you can use a center line to keep everything symmetrical. So maybe I'll use a center line for the purposes of the video here. I'm just going to try and pretty much establish the center about to where I want to stay here. Right. And what I did to show you is I went from that point, right, and pretty much just went out to the side, you know, from that point, and formed that nice little wedge shape, because it's going to be a lot easier to flow everything off of the face and into over here on the side where the bark is still showing there, and on this side to where it's a lot smoother. It'll be a nice smooth transition, in other words, you know, from the features into the hair and whatnot. Right. Kind of keeps it symmetrical. It doesn't have to be perfect, because actually the more that these things are a little bit off, they actually look a lot cooler. Right? So you just want to use your imagination, find out about, I want to make the whole face pretty much in this area here. So I'm going to take most of the wood and use almost the whole piece. Sometimes you have a lot bigger piece, you can let all the hair just flow right down in the beard, which is really nice too. But trying to keep it so it's big enough, because it's a small piece. It's about 12 inches, maybe a little less, so you guys can see it on the video here. All right. Now, you got your center line established. Don't worry about that, because that's going to come off. And what we're going to do is dig in the forehead up here just a little bit more, so I'm going to make a stop cut around there. I should also mention you should wear a glove. I've been doing this a long time. I don't recommend that you do without a carving glove. Alright, I keep my fingers out of the way. I've learned my lessons too. But carving is very dangerous. These tools are sharp. Definitely wear a carving glove, especially if you're new. Do not follow in my footsteps. Again, you take up any kind of sharp tool in your hand, you're risking getting cut. And carving tools give you really big boo-boos, so make sure that you purchase a good carving glove from a carving store. There's plenty out there on the internet. Alright, what I'm going to do here is just establishing, getting a little bit of shadow underneath there to where we're going to tuck the hair under. Don't worry about when I remove the line. You can always draw it back on. One thing about the carving, when you use carving tools, it is sculpting, but it's a lot different than sculpting for you artists out there. It's sculpting kind of, I think of it as sculpting in reverse. You can put wood, or take wood off when you're carving. You can't put it back on. Right? When you're sculpting, it's a lot easier, I think, because when you sculpt something, you don't like it, you could just add another piece. You can take a piece off, change it around. With carving, you have to kind of know the dimensions of the face way beforehand and think in reverse, because once you take something off, that's it. And you better hope that you have a lot more wood left. So we try not to take off what we're going to need. And that comes through practice and trial and error. But try not to go too far and not leave yourself anything in case a nose breaks off or something. You want to make sure that you still have enough wood to carve another nose.